Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com. Get a lot of questions from viewers about what are the best lenses they should be buying for their cameras. And specifically, in this video, we're going to deal with the best value Nikon lenses for your cameras. And this is for DX, for the crop sensor body. So we're talking about the D3300, the D5300, and the D7100 are the current models in the lineup. And of course, these lenses will work fine on any of the previous crop sensor bodies that came before those ones. So I've got the top three for you. This is best value zooms. We're not talking about primes here. This is strictly zooms. And you might be a little surprised by some of my choices. But as far as value goes, I think these pop the most punch for the price. I got two of them right here. And the one I don't have here is the ultra-wide category, and I had it up until recently. I sold it because I don't use an ultra-wide that much. But for those of you that are into landscapes and into architectural photography, such as if you're into real estate photos for houses, things like that, an ultra-wide's great. So we'll start with the ultra-wide. So out of the top three, the ultra-wide is one of them, and that is the Sigma 8 to 16 millimeter. You can't really beat it for value. At about $6.99, I think, on Amazon right now. You don't get much that gives you this range. All the way out to 8 millimeters, which is going to give you very wide, about as wide as you can go pretty much on a crop sensor body like DX cameras are. And it's very sharp right across from 8 all the way to 16. It's a great lens, performs really well, and really it provides good value even at $6.99. This may sound like an expensive lens for a lot of you that haven't got into the higher end lenses before, but you can't really get a really inexpensive lens in an ultra wide. $6.99. If you need an ultra wide, if you're doing landscapes, if you're doing architecture, this is the lens to go for, the Sigma 8 to 16 millimeter. I'd take it over any of the other choices. It just performs very, very well, very sharp, very good image quality, right from 8 to 16, and it gives you that full 8 millimeters for width. So that's number one out of the top three best value zooms. Number two for the top three best value DX zooms for Nikon is the lens that probably a lot of you already own, and that is the Nikon 18 to 55 millimeter, the VR2. This comes bundled with a lot of the Nikon cameras, the DX cameras anyways. And you might think, well, why isn't he going for like the newer 18 to 140 or something a little bit more range or whatever? Well, for best value, it's very, very hard to beat this 18 to 55. It's small and light, and more importantly, it's very sharp and it performs very well for a very inexpensive price. It either came with your camera kit and you got it for probably like an extra $100 if you bought it as a kit, or you can pick it up for about $250 or even less than that used. So for value, it's very hard to beat the 18 to 55 Nikon, the VR2. It's got a very good VR in it, so it's image stabilized. It's got a good range, 18 to 55, and it's very good performing lens, very sharp, very good characteristics right across the board. It's not the fastest lens, but for value, it's very hard to beat. I actually use it for a lot of stuff I do now. Use it a lot of time for videos. Right now I'm shooting with the 50 f1.8G. That's what you're watching this video shot with. But the 18 to 55 is definitely a go-to lens. It's very good for a lot of video situations. Again, limitation is speed pretty much. It doesn't really sacrifice other things other than speed. So that's number two in the best value DX lenses for zooms. And number three is part of why number two ranks number two is you go with the 55 to 300 and it pairs up beautifully with the 18 to 55. So it gives you 18 to 300 when you put these two together. So this 55 to 300, I bought this in a bundle in a kit too. I got both those lenses with my 5200. You can get them now with the 5300 as a bundle. And you save money that way. But again, This 55 to 300 millimeter DX lens from Nikon, not the fastest lens. Again, it's a what is it here? 4.5 to 5.6 G, but it gives you all the way out to 300 millimeters, which in 35 millimeter terms is 450 millimeters. So it's equivalent to 450 millimeter lens, which is quite long. It's a good VR lens. It's so it's image stabilized, and it's quite well performing. Very good characteristic right across the board. It's quite sharp. Performs very well. It's really its only limitation is speed. So speed aside, it's an excellent lens, and you can't really beat it. Again, when we're talking value for the price, I believe these are $3.99 right now on Amazon is the going rate. You probably pick them up for a lesser price used, but you can't beat the value you get out of that lens for the price. So that's out of the top 3 best value zooms for Nikon DX for crop sensor bodies. The 2 of them are Nikon, and you get those 2 bundled in a kit a lot of times too, so you get an even better value. So that's the 18 to 55 paired with the 55 to 300. And then my third choice, which was the first one we discussed, Sigma 8 to 16 millimeter for an ultra wide, and I really don't think you can beat that period for a crop sensor body. And that would be same with the Canon too. We'll get into a video on the Canon best value zooms, but it would rank in there for me as well with Canon. So those are the 3: the Sigma 8 to 16 millimeter for an ultra wide, the Nikon 18 to 55 millimeter VR2, and the Nikon 55 to 300 millimeter VR. Those are the top 3 best value Nikon zooms for Nikon DX crop sensor bodies, like the D3300, D5300, D7100. There you go, folks. Hope that helps when you're making some lens choices. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below, and we can have a discussion or answer any questions for you. And thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon with some new videos, some new articles. We'll keep you up to date with what's going on in the world of photography, videography, and technology right here at artoftheimage.com. Thanks a lot, folks.